Hello everyone, today we'll be doing the Henry Park Primary School prelim exam for Primary 6 in preparation for the PSLE. So we'll be doing booklet A and B today. As you can see, the allotted time is actually 1 hour, but what you'll really want to be doing is out of this 1 hour, you just use 45 to 50 minutes to finish the questions. So how about the other 10 to 15 minutes? Well, that is for checking. It's very important. So how will you do checking? For example, you have question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, all the way to question 20. But when you're doing your questions, question 1 to 3 are all easy. But question 4 is quite difficult. You're not really confident of your answer. So when you're done with question 20, you go back and do question 4 again and check whether your answer is correct. That's why checking is very important. Okay, so now let's move on to the actual paper, right? Booklet A and B. Let's start off with booklet A. It's a multiple choice question. So here's the first question. In 31.42, which digit is in the 10th place, right? So what we want to look at is you have to know the places for all the digits. So in 123.45, quite sure we all learn that 1 in this case is the hundredths place, 2 is the tens place, 3 is the ones place, 4 is the tens place with the th, 5 is the hundredths place, right, with the th, remember. So in this case, which digit is in the tens place? It's really simple. The answer is just 4. Let's move on to the next question. Express 1 and 3 out of 50 as a decimal. What we really want to do with these questions, when we see express it as a decimal, we want to convert this fraction. So as we all know, this is called a mixed number. So what we want to do is we want to convert this fraction in the mixed number to something that is out of 100, right? We want to convert this. So 3 out of 50 is 6 out of 100 because we times 2 both the numerator and the denominator. So eventually we get 1 and 6 out of 100, which is 1.06, right? So this 1 is this, and 6 out of 100 is this 0.06. So the answer is 1. Question 3. Which of the following is closest to the number indicated by the arrow in the number line below? We want to find the number that's indicated by the arrow. So let's see. Right? So we have 120 and 130, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So there's actually 1, 2, 3 divisions. So what we want to do is we have to find the number that fits. For example, you can try 128, right? For example, the space between here is 2, so this must be 126, 124. But where's 122? This does not fit. So clearly it's not 128 here, right? So instead, and we go and try. So we try 127. The space is 3. So here will be 124, 121. But that also doesn't fit because the difference is only 1. So we also know it can't be 127. So what's in between 127 and 128? So if you do such a sum trial and error, you'll find that it's 127.5. Or you can simply just divide 130 minus 120 divided by 4, because there are 4 spaces here, 1, 2, 3, 4, to get the difference here, and you'll find that it's 2.5. And if you do 130 minus 2.5, you'll get 127.5. You can also check this is going to be 125, 122.5, and yeah, that's just a way of making sure that this number is indeed 127.5. So the question is, which of the following is closest to the number? And by inspection alone, you can see that it's 127. You can do the calculations yourself, but really all you need is to inspect and observe that the answer is 127. Let's move on. So, question 4. Andre had a number of red apples, green apples, and oranges in the ratio 8:3:2. What is the ratio of the number of oranges to the total number of apples? So, this is also quite an easy question. So we just create the ratio here. 8:3:2. So we want to find the ratio of the number of oranges to the total number of apples. Right, so this is equivalent, what's the total number of apples? Is equivalent to the red apples plus the green apples. It's just number of oranges is 2, that's the ratio, and the total apples is just 8 plus 3, 2 to 11 if you calculate it, and the answer is 1, right? 2 to 11. Yep, let's go to the next question. On a bus, 9 of the passengers were men, 15 were women, the rest were children. Given that 20% of the passengers were children, how many passengers were there in total on the bus? So we are given here some numbers and also a percentage. What we really want to find is we want to match the numbers with the percentage, so we can do some calculations and we can actually find out what we want to find out, which is the total number of passengers. So we know the number, right? We know the number of passengers who are not children, right? That is just 9 plus 15, which is 24, right? So we have to relate this to a certain percentage. So in this case, what is the percentage, right? 20% were children, so what is the percentage of the passengers who are not children? That is just 100% minus 20%, which is 80%. So that's really good because now we can relate the number with the percentage. So we know that 80% of the passengers on the bus, that's 24 people, right? So what is 100%, right? Because you want to find in total. In total, it's just 100%. That's 24 times 100 over 80. How do I get this? Well, you really have to find, well, you take 24 people, so 24, and you divide by 80% first, right? You have to divide by 80 because that's the amount of people per percent, and after that you times 100. But if you overall just simplify it, you'll get 24 times 100 over 80. And if you calculate, oh yeah, you use, of course this is section A and B, you can't use a calculator, but it's also quite a simple calculation. Eventually if you do your multiplication, you do your division, you end up with getting 30 people. So the answer is 2. So let's move on to question 6 here. So let's move on to question 6 here. A train left town X for town Y, and this question is about time. What we want to do in these questions is we want to draw a graph like this to simplify our thought process. So we know that it left town X for town Y, and it arrived at town Y at 11:05. It also took 3 hours and 50 minutes. So what we want to do is we want to split up this 3 hours and 50 minutes into smaller chunks that will make the calculation easier, because we want to find what time the train left town X. This is the big mystery here. So how do we split up 3 hours and 50 minutes? Well, we can split it up here. The first chunk would be 50 minutes, and then 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. That's really the simplest way to do it. What's 50 minutes from 11:05? Right, you can think of it like this, right? So 50 minutes is just minus 1 hour plus 10 minutes. Right, so that's minus 50 minutes is just minus 1 hour plus 10 minutes. If you can think of it like this, it will maybe simplify it a bit. What's minus 1 hour from 11:05? That's just 10:05 plus 10 minutes, just 10:15. So here is 10:15. Here will be 9:15 because it's 1 hour from before 10:15, sorry. Here will be 8:15, here would be 7:15. Bam. No more mystery, it's just 7:15. Answer is 1. Let's move on. We have a graph, and we're supposed to use it to answer question 7 and 8. Right? It's about the amount of people who visited a shop from Monday to Thursday. So question 7 asks us how many people visited the shop on Monday and Tuesday. We really want to be careful here. We don't want to get tricked by the question. We don't want to find the people who visited the shop on all of the days. No, we have to look at what the question is telling us. In this case, it is Monday and Tuesday. These two numbers will plus together, right? How many people visited the shop then? We have to calculate how many people visited on Monday plus how many people visited on Tuesday. What's here? Alright, so this is a number between 80 and 100. We see certain divisions here. So this is 80 and these divisions here, right? So we'll just use the normal formula for this. 100 minus 80. How many spaces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 20 over 5 for, or if you don't want to use this formula, you can also brute force it. That's, yeah, you can also do that. But in this case, this will be 84, 88, 92, 96, right? And we can just trace it back here. We know that Monday, 88 people, right? How about Tuesday? Let's see. Oh, Tuesday is simple. It's just 60 here all the way, right? So we have 88 people on Monday, 60 people on Tuesday. It's a simple matter of adding, it's a simple matter of adding now. 88 plus 60, let's see what that would give us. 88 plus 60, you can do your addition table if you like, but it'll get you 148. Number 3 is the answer. Let's look at question 8. Given that a total of 104 adults visited the shop on Wednesday and Thursday, find the ratio of the number of children to the number of adults who visited the shop. So for this question, we know that we know the number of adults, right? We know number of adults. So what we want to know is the ratio. But to find out the ratio, we also have to find the number of children. So how do you find the number of children from the number of adults? Well, here's the thing. We know the total number of people, right? So we also know the total number of people. And this question assumes that, for the people who are not adults, they're simply just children. How do we find this then? It's just the total number of people minus number of adults. Let's see. You just have to see, yeah, this is Wednesday and Thursday. So, Wednesday, just draw a line here. And earlier we talked about how the small divisions are basically 4. The difference is 4. So 124, 128, 132. So on, it's getting a bit messy here. So on Wednesday there is 132 people. And on Thursday it's just quite obviously 20. So now we already know the total number of people, which is 132 plus 20, 152. We know the number of we know the number of adults. We also know the number of children. 152 minus 104 adults. Let's see what we will get. Just 152 minus 104, that's 48. Now we want to know the ratio of number of children to the number of adults. It's 48 to its number of adults, 104. If you I keep making these markings here, please don't mind. But if you simplify this, let's see what you'll get. You can divide it by 4. We have 12, 204 divided by 4, 26. You can further divide it by 2, 6 to 13. Seems that is the final ratio. And The answer is number 1. Question 9. Let's see. Figure below shows a plastic cubicle container partially filled with unit cubes. How many more unit cubes are needed to fill the container completely? We have to take note of the information here. It's a cube, so what does this mean? Means that whatever length here, is the same length here and it's the same length here, right? So if you want to find the volume of this container, it's simply L to the power of 3, which is L times L times L. If you look at, but you want to find this value of L here, so you see 1, hold on, let me use a different color. So this is 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube. So we know that the value of L is 3, right? So we know that this is 3 cubes wide, so hence it has to be 3 cubes thick, and the height is also 3 cubes. So what is the volume? It's just 3 times 3 times 3, 27. How many more cubes are needed? We want to take, so what you want to take here is 27 minus the number of cubes that have already been put in. So in this case, you just count. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, this is 8, and here's the thing, we should not fall for this, but this view does not, it makes it quite hard to see that there's actually 2 more cubes at the bottom there, because it's simply here, but it's blocked out by the other cubes. So there's actually 2 more. So we have 8 plus 2, we have 10. So in this case, it will be 27 minus 10. We will need 17 more cubes to fill this whole container up. And the answer is number 3. Let's see question 10. Which of the following fractions is larger than 1/4? Yeah, 1/4. So what is the real strategy for this? We see that, okay, we can do some elimination first, right? We see that the denominator here is 24, so we can just times 6 to get 24. 6 out of 24. This is the same as 1/4. We know it's not 1. Now let's look at 5 out of 21. Right, so what can we do with 5 out of 21? We want to make it, we want to make the denominator of 5 out of 21 and 1 out of 4 the LCM, right? Lowest common multiple. Yeah, we just take 21 times 4, so 5 out of 21, and 5 out of 21 times 4 on both sides, get 20 out of 84. We take 1 and 4 times 21 on both sides, 21 out of 84. This is, so 21 out of 84 is larger than 20 out of 84, which is 5 out of 21. That's out. Okay, so now we have 4 out of 15. Again we want to take the LCM. What is the LCM of 15 and 4? You just times 4 both sides. So 60, 60. 1 out of 4 times 15 times 15. That will give you 15 out of 60. Here 16 out of 60 is larger than 15 out of 60. We know this is the answer already, but let's just go and prove why number 4 is wrong. We have 3 out of 13. As usual, times 4 times 4. Get 13 times 4, 52. 3 times 4 is 12. Compared with 1, 4. 1 out of 4 times 13 times 13. 13 out of 52. 12 out of 52 is smaller. Clearly it's 3. There you go. Next question. ABCD is made out of 3 identical rectangles. The perimeter is 60 cm. Find the length of BC. Okay, so we have to take note that certain things. So this is 3 identical rectangles, right? So we see that, so they're all the same, and we see that this length is equivalent to 2 of this length. So a rectangle essentially only has its length and breadth. So clearly what this question is hinting to us is that this length is 2 times of its breadth, right? So this is just, yeah, it's just a ratio that we have to take note. So if we just fill up these numbers, there's 2 of its breadth here. Here this one is 1 of its length, 1 of its breadth. L, B. So what we get if we do some algebra, we get 4b plus 3l equals 60. We know that 2b equals L, so we can do 4b. We can from here we can deduce that 4b equals 2l, because what we want to find is BC, which is L. So we want to make all of it L. So this is just 2l plus 3l. 5l equals 60. L is 60 over 5, which is 12. The answer is 2. If you want to check, you can go and substitute in the values, but it's essentially 2, yeah. The lengths of 2 ribbons are in the ratio 5:3. Length of one is 30 cm longer than the other. Find the length of the shorter ribbon. If you want, you can do the model method if you want. That is completely feasible. What I'm going to do is a faster way, right? So 5 units, we know that this is the longer one, and 3 units is the shorter one. We know that the difference is 30 cm. 2 units is 30 cm. So what's the length of the shorter ribbon? That's 3 units long. So we just take 30 over 2 times 3, 45 cm. Simple. Answer is 2. At first, Walter and Ming Ming were facing the same direction. Alright, so this is a compass question about directions, right? So we don't even need to look at the question. What we have to draw, we absolutely have to draw, is your compass. This is north, south, west, east, and your 8 directions too. North, east, southeast, northwest, southwest. You're facing the same direction, but Walter turned 225 degrees anti-clockwise to face southwest. So Walter is facing here, right? But he turned 225 degrees anti-clockwise first. What is anti-clockwise? It's going in this direction. So 225 degrees. We know that this is 90 degrees. So 225 degrees is how many of this? So we know that this angle, sorry, is 90 degrees. So obviously this angle is 45 degrees. So how many of these angles did he move anti-clockwise towards? So that's just 225 over 45. That's 5. 5 of these angles. So clearly, when he faced southwest, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can essentially deduce that Walter was originally facing east, right? And Ming Ming also turned 45 degrees clockwise to face southeast. So yes, it's pretty much a no-brainer. Uh, clockwise is just in this direction. This is 45 degrees. Ming Ming is also facing east. Right, that's number 1. Let's move on to the next question. Right, angles. ABCD is a parallelogram and ABE is a triangle. We want to find angle ABE. Alright, so let's see what we have. We realize that ABE is made out of 2 angles. One of them is ABC, and one of them is, okay, let's make this angle X. Let's just call it X, right? So we have X, E, and angle XBE. These are the 2 angles that makes it up. So what is ABC? That's the angle property of angles in a parallelogram. Simply 50 degrees, which is the same as ADC. So we know that this is 50 degrees. What is XBE, right? ABC is 50. What is XBE? Well, we should use the angles in a triangle property for this, but we don't have this angle. And actually, we do, right? We can deduce, oh, this angle is 101. So what is angle BXE? That's just 180 minus 101 degrees, which in fact we will get 79 degrees. You can call this angles in a straight line or supplementary angles. Depends, right? So, but it's just 79 degrees here, so we can just find out XBE 180 degrees minus 79 minus 67, 34. And the angle property is angle sum of triangle. So ABC plus XBE, so it's just 50 degrees plus 34 degrees, that's equal to ABE. ABE is 84 degrees. The answer is 2. Here we see a question about chairs. So chairs in a hall were arranged in rows. Each row had the same number of chairs. William sat on one of the chairs. There were 5 chairs to his right. So this is William. This is William, say. So there were 5 chairs to his right. And 5 chairs to his left. There were 4 rows of chairs in front of him. And 8 rows of chairs behind him. How many chairs were there altogether in this hall? So we just take the length times the height. We can think of it as a square if you'd like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What's 11 times 13? Answer is 143. This question, you can just brute force it and get the answer. Let's look at question 16. Oh, sorry, there's no question 16. We've already moved on to booklet B. That's great. Let's see. Alright, question 16. Find the value of half divided by 1/10. We need to know the important concept between about the relation between division and multiplication. When we have a number a over b, a fraction a over b, we divide it by c over d. What we'll get is a over b times, when we multiply, when we change the divide sign to a multiplication sign, we always flip the numerator with the denominator for the other fraction. You'll get d over c. So, similarly, half divided by 1/10 is half times 10 over 1. What is 10 over 1? Half times 10. It's essentially 10, which is 5. Yeah, so that's the answer. In the figure below, name 2 lines that are parallel to each other. Right, so we can deduce this by inspection, but some of your teachers may not like that, so we'll just do it the normal way then. Right, by inspection, we already see that AF and CD looks quite similar, but we don't know if they're parallel or not. How do we confirm this? So we have to see. So AF, this line here, we have to look at the triangle that it forms. So it forms, let me highlight it in red, it forms this triangle, right? Length here is 2 and the height here is 3. So actually if we bring this over to CD, we'll see that it also makes the same triangle. Length here is 4 and height here is 6. And in fact, the ratio of 4, 6 can simplify it to 2, 3. This is actually a secondary school concept, but it simply proves that if the ratios are the same, that means the lines are parallel to each other. Or if you want, you can also find this small triangle here. Length is also 2, height is also 3, which is basically proves that it's parallel. Or if you don't want, just honestly, you can solve this question by inspection. So it's just AF and CD. This method is just for your interest. If you're further interested, you can go and search up gradients of lines, which is covered in secondary school. Let's look at question 18. A rectangular tank measures 12 by 10 by 9. What is the capacity? Capacity is volume. How do we get volume? We multiply them together. Multiply the three dimensions together. So it's just 12 cm. So capacity of tank is 12 cm times 10 cm times 9 cm, which is 1080 cm cubed. Bam, simple. Question 19. Express 9 minutes as a percentage of 1 hour. Let's see. How many, we have to know that how many minutes make up an hour, right? So that's 60 minutes. So when we want to convert something to a percentage, it is usually easier that we express it in the form of a fraction first, right? So in this case, we have 9 minutes as a percentage of 1 hour. So that's 9 minutes as a percentage of 60 minutes. So that's 9 over 60. Or you can in fact, so you want to get this number to 100, right? So what you can do is there are a few methods to this, but the method I prefer is you times 10 to it first. So you would get 90 over 600, and then you divide by 6 to get 100 as the denominator. So when you get 90 divided by 6, you get 15. So what is 15 over 100 is 15%. Bam. Question 20. Find the missing number in the box. So here, it's very important that you know your Bodmer's rules. So 8 plus this number divided by 2 is 12. By your Bodmer's rules, you always do your division first, right? This is the most important. Always do this first, don't do the addition. If you do 8 plus this question mark, take that whole thing, divide by 2, that's wrong. You don't do addition first, you do division first. So what can you do to simplify this equation, right? So you can take away 8 from the equation. That's basically the most important thing you need to do right now. So you minus 8. Let me change my ink. You minus 8 from both sides, right? And you get question mark divided by 2 equals 12 minus 8, 4. Divided by 2, you just times 2. So now your question mark is just 4 times 2, 8. The answer is 8. Let's move on to the next question. 4 figures A, B, C, and D are drawn on a square grid. Name all the figures with at least one line of symmetry. What is a line of symmetry? For example, in this triangle, in this equilateral triangle, a line of symmetry, well, I can give you the official scientific definition of it, the official mathematical definition, but what is essential and what is important, what you need to know, is that a line of symmetry, in layman terms, simply, when you fold this figure in half, you fold it over to the side. If it fits exactly, then this line here is the line of symmetry. So when you fold it in half and it fits perfectly, you want to name all the figures with at least one line of symmetry. So let's see. For these kind of questions, you always want to try to split the figures down the middle to see that whether it's the line of symmetry or not. For A, when we split it down the middle, yes, these two shapes, right? These two shapes, A1, we can name this A1, we can name this A2. We see that they're exactly the same. If you fold them, yeah, they're going to fit perfectly. We know A is one of the answers already, right? Next, we look at B. So, B, if you fold, so you want to think of like how many line of symmetry this has, right? So you want to cut it like this. when you think of folding it, but it doesn't exactly fit, right? Because it will be something like this. It doesn't fit. Clearly, that's not the line of symmetry. It's not what that's not what we're looking for. So that's fine. We'll continue finding, right? So we think of, oh, maybe will this work? No, not really, right? Because if you fold along here, you might still get something like this. I'm really bad at drawing, but it's not the line of symmetry. Right. Oh, sorry. Yeah, my recording stopped for a moment. I've got it back up. All right. So that's not the line of symmetry. So you try, further, right? And you'll find, oh, maybe this line does it work? So when you flip it over, something like this. Again, I'm not good at drawing, but you get the idea, right? It is not. This figure does not have uh, any line of symmetry, right? In this case, so it's not B, sadly. So let's look at C. You want to split it in half. When you flip it over, hey, the two figures here are the same, right? So C clearly has a line of symmetry. You will write it here. And let's look at D. Honestly, with one glance, you already figure that it does not have a line of symmetry. No matter where you try and split it, it's not going to fold in half perfectly. By inspection, you already know, right? So it's just A and C. And how do you know? How can you further confirm it's A and C? The questions carry 2 marks each, right? And what do we have? We have 2 answers, right? 2 answers, 2 marks, makes sense. Let me go back. Yeah, 2 answers, 2 marks, it makes sense, right? So, right, the next question. Shade one more square in the figure below to make it symmetrical. Again, we're talking about the line of symmetry here. Honestly, there is really no particular way of acing this question. No particular strategy. In fact, the most important thing is probably to have a good you need to be visual enough to find out what the line of symmetry is. It's quite hard to like deduce it with pure logic. It's mainly a trial and error thing. But the answer here in this case is if you realize you split it in half like this, you'll find that we only need to shade one more figure to make it symmetrical, which would be this figure. If you shade it, you find that it folds perfectly over. So that would be the answer. You shade this square. Let's move on to the next question. The figure below shows a quarter circle of radius 7 centimeters. Find the perimeter of the figure. Interesting. So what's the perimeter of the figure? We have to find this side plus this side. This side is just 7, right? That's the radius. So the most important thing is finding the length of this arc, right? So as you know, as you have learned, you probably have learned the formula for finding the circumference of a circle, which is 2 pi r or pi d. In this case, it's 2 pi r, of course. So in its quarter circle, so it's just a quarter times 2 pi r, which is half pi r, which is half. We substitute pi with 22 over 7. As you can see, the question wants you to do that. So it's just half times 22 over 7 times the radius, which is 7. Both of these cancel out. Half times 22, 11 cm. Oh, and obviously for your presentation mark, you want to write like perimeter of figure. Yeah. So 11 centimeters. Oh, sorry. That's not that is not the final answer. That's just the length of this arc. The final answer, right? The perimeter of the figure is 11 plus 7 plus 7. And the answer is 25. See? Mrs. Tan deposits 4,000 in XYZ Bank for 1 year at an interest rate of 1.4% PA. How much interest will she get back? Quite simple. Just take 4,000%. So what's the total percentage here, right? Obviously she gets 100% because that's what she initially deposited, but she also gets extra 1.4%. So that's 101.4% in total. We want to take 4,000 times 101.4% to get your final answer, which is 1.4%, which is $4,056. And you can just, so to find the interest, which is what she earns essentially, just take 4,056 minus $4,056. Or if you want, you want to go straight to it, just do $4,000 times 1.4 to get $56. Same answer either way. Right. So next question, I guess. Right, Ellie had y plus 7. Flora had $4 less than Ellie. It's an algebra question. Find the total amount of money in y and express in simplest form. Quite simple, right? Just add everything together. That's the simplest thing. So it's just y plus 7 plus Flora had 4 less than Ellie, so that'll be y plus 7 minus 4. Gloria had 2y more than Flora, alright, plus y plus 7 minus 4 plus 2y. It looks a bit messy at first. If you want, you can individually figure out the amount of money that they have, but I'm just doing this because it's a bit simpler, right? If you just simplify it, it'll be 1y, 2y, 3y, 5y. Right? 7 plus 7 minus 4 plus 7 minus 4. 5y plus $13. That's your answer. Given that the three girls had a total of $33, find the value of y. It's just a matter of equating. You can just solve. Y equals 4. Or if you think that's how you write it, yep. Let's go next question. Ace, Ben, and Charlie have some marbles. Number of marbles that Ace and Ben have is in the ratio 4:5. The number of marbles Ace and Ben have is 3 times the number of marbles Charlie has. Given that Ace and Charlie, quite complicated, it's quite a long question. I think the model method would probably be best for this, for visualizing what the question wants us to do. Right, so Ace, Ben, and Charlie. So Ace and Ben ratio 4:5. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. Total number of them that they have is 3 times the number of marbles Charlie has. In fact, you can even calculate and make this model proportional. You see that there's 9 units here. Ace has 4 units. Ben has 5 units. So together is 9 units, and just divide by 3, because they say they have 3 times the number of marbles Charlie has. You can deduce that Charlie has 3 units, right? Given that Ace and Charlie has 350 marbles, how many more marbles does Ben have than Ace? Alright, Ace and Charlie, 4 units. Well, I'm not sure whether your teachers want it this way. If you want to define what's a unit, so let U be 1 unit. If your teachers want it presented like this, obviously you should go ahead and do that. Let U be 1 unit, so Ace and Charlie, 4u plus 3u equals 350. 7u is 350. U equals 50. How many more marbles does Ben have than Ace? 5u minus 4u equals u. Ben had so Ben has 50 more marbles than Ace. So yeah, it's just 50 because this is the difference. And it's just 50. Let's go, question 26. There are 40 pupils in this class, and the table shows the number of points each pupil scored in the first round of a game. Okay, so how many pupils scored at least 3 points? Let's see. You want at least 3 points, so it's just this three groups of pupils, 8 plus 10 plus 6. 24. Right. 24 score at least 3. Pupils who did not score enough points in the first round could not take part in the second round. Oh no. 16 of them could not take part in the second round. What was the least number of points a pupil must have scored in order to take part in the second round? Like the strategy here is just to add, right? So like the first level we have 3. 3 is not 16, so let's move on. 3 plus 6, that's 9. 9 is also not 16. Right, so 3 plus 6 plus 7. So that's 9 plus 7. Oh, we see, oh, that's 16. It matches here exactly. So we know that the cutoff point is here, because these 16 pupils can't take part in the second round. Right. So what was the least number of points a pupil must have scored in order to take part in the second round? That's just 3, right? Because it's the number above the cutoff point. 3. Right. 3 points. Let's move on to question 27. A piece of wire is bent to form a rectangle of area 162. The length of the rectangle is twice its breadth. Again, algebra is your friend here. I think that especially in the PSLE, algebra is really important if you want to do the questions quick. If you're going to use like the model method, that's great, but it takes so much time. Right? Algebra is pretty much the most efficient way. You should be very well versed at using it. So the length of the rectangle is twice its breadth. So L equals 2B. Find the breadth of the rectangle. So area is 162. So 162 equals L times B. Right. L equals 2B, so that is 2B times B, 2B squared. So okay, there is a primary school level method of teaching this, but I really want to show you how simple it can be to use like a more advanced method to solve this. By all means you can do trial and error, but this is much faster. So in this case you divide both by 2. 162 by 2 is 81. B squared equals 81. You get B equals 9 cm. How you get 9? Just square root 81. So it's like what number equals 81? 9 times 9 is 81. Yeah, that's it 9 cm. Okay, let's move on to question 28. Wow, ABC is an equilateral triangle, and AECD is AECD is a trapezium where AD is parallel to CE. This diagram is quite complicated. We have to be pretty careful in the way we're going to answer this question here. Find DAC. Yeah, you want to find this angle. How are we going to find this, right? Alright, the most important piece of information in this case, you have to look at what the question says to try to make your problem solving easier. Equilateral triangle. ABC is an equilateral triangle. What does that mean? All sides are 60. All angles are 60 degrees. So we know that this is 60. This is 60. This is 60. And we can tell that angle CAE is 60 degrees minus 45 degrees, which is 15 degrees. Not sure if a school wants you to write angle properties. The angle property is you can simply write equilateral triangle or angles in an equilateral triangle. If your school does not require you, that's perfectly fine. You can just skip that stage, but I'm just writing there just for additional information. Anyways, in secondary school, you have to write all your angle properties. So we know that this is 15 degrees. Yeah, 15 degrees. So from here, we can immediately figure out this angle. Right, so what is this angle? Angle ACE. ACE is 180 minus 15 minus 130 if you calculate 35 degrees. Angles in a triangle, or angle sum of the triangle. The angle DAC is equivalent to the angle ACE, because if we rotate it, because AD and EC are parallel, right, and CE are parallel, so the angle property will be alternate angles. DAC equals ACE, DAC ACE, which is 35 degrees. Right. At first, Kate placed all her beads into 30 boxes with an equal number of beads in each box. 6 of the boxes were broken, and the beads in these broken boxes were then replaced into the remaining 24. Number of beads increased by 10. Alright, so you can do let 6 of the boxes. Yeah, so we can try to visualize this in a sense. So this is what each box had at first, the number of beads, and we had 30 of these. So this is the initial amount of beads, right? We can call this 1 unit. So let U be 1 unit, let P be 1 part. So we have 30 of this, but what happens was 6 of the box were broken, and the beads were then placed into the remaining 24. So there was 10 extra. We can call this big one 1 part. Right. So initially there were 30 boxes, so that's 30 units, right? And at the end there was 24 parts. Like, the amount of beads stayed the same. There was no beads being demolished or destroyed, or no beads being added. So 30 units is 24 parts. But at the same time, from this graph, right, of beads of what's happening in the box, right, what's happening in one box, we also notice that P equals U plus 10. And from that's great, because from then on we can just substitute in. So this would be 24 U plus 10. So 30 U is 24, U plus 240 minus 24 from each side. That will get you 6U is 240. U equals 40. What's the number of beads in each box at first? What's happening at first, right? At first it's just U. There's no 10 because there's 30 boxes. So what's the number of beads in each box? At first there's just 40 beads. Alright, the final question, 30. In this figure, ABC and ADE are right angle isosceles triangles. What is isosceles? It means that this length same as this length, right? This length same as this length. Okay, so BD and C is 2 cm. The area of the shaded part is 18 cm squared. Find the length of AB. For this, you definitely have to use algebra. You just call this U, right? So let AB be U, something like that. You want to define. So naturally AC will be U, because this is an isosceles triangle, and AB equals AC, right? The lengths are the same. So this question deals with area. So we simply make certain equations. So what is the area of original let's not call it original, let's call it smaller, right? It's more intuitive that way. Of smaller triangle, it's just half times u again, half u squared. Area of larger triangle is half times u plus 2 times u plus 2, right? We learned that area of triangle is half BH. That's essentially the formula, but it's now u plus 2. So, the area of the shaded part is 18, and find the length of AB. So this means that half u plus 2 minus half u squared equals 18. Alright, this is the way that I'm trying to solve this is by using a secondary school method. I'm really not sure of how you solve this with primary school level methods. Yes, it's the only way I can think of to solve this. Alright, another way I can think of is if you visualize it as a square. Sorry, my drawing's bad. If you visualize it as a square, and this would be u, this would be u, this would be the same area. So if you visualize it as a square, perhaps it will be easier. So we have u plus 2 squared minus u squared equals 2 times 18. And oh dear, okay, this also needs secondary school level techniques to solve. I'm not really sure how to solve this if you only have access to primary school level techniques. Alright, I think I'll just go through the secondary school level technique. Yeah. So half u plus 2, just use the formula. So it's just half u squared plus 4u plus 4 minus half u squared. So that would be sorry. You can solve this with a primary school level technique. These just cancel out. 2u plus 2 equals 18. 2u equals 16. U equals 8. Bam! 8 cm. And we have completed this practice paper for today. Let me know if you want to do a paper 2. And finally, I would appreciate it if I could have some feedback on my teaching style. I am in fact a student. I'm still encountering, I'm still a student. I'm still a secondary school student, and uh, doing my schooling. So I'll hope if I could receive some feedback about this stint in teaching. So I think that will be all for today. Thank you, and yeah, I'll really appreciate it if you guys leave some feedback. I hope this benefited you if you're a PSLE student, and of course, you can follow my tips. But if your teacher suggests otherwise, you should probably go with your teacher. Yep, thank you.